Hello everyone. You are listening to Professor Ritesh Mahajan from Marathwada Mitra Mandal Institute of Technology, Lohgaon, Pune. So, friend, in the last lecture of the unit number 6, I discussed what is meant by artificial intelligence, components of the artificial intelligence system, areas of the artificial intelligence system, as well as the application. Now, in this lecture number 2, I will discuss the what are the problem solving techniques in artificial intelligence systems and the different uh, areas of the artificial intelligence that we have seen, like internet of things is there, machine learning is there. So here internet of things I will discuss in detail. So let's start with the lecture number 2 based on unit number 6. So problem solving techniques in artificial intelligence. So forward approach. In this approach, from known variable, goal is achieved. This that means here whatever the given data is there, from that data we will try to achieve your goal. So here the example is given: A A implies to B and then B. Suppose A stands for, here A is known while B is our goal that we have to achieve. So here if A stands for it is raining, then A implies B. What is that? Here we are saying that if it is raining, then roads are wet. So roads are wet is nothing but the B condition. So obviously what we can say, if it is raining, if it is the input, then roads must be wet. So in the forward approach, the very simple thing is that we have the given data. From that given data we will reach to the final target, or we will find out the solution. But in the backward approach, from solution, from goal, I will try to reach to the input. So with the same example, here we know A is it is raining, B is roads are wet. So if roads are wet, then what we are saying that roads are wet. Why? Because it is raining. So A is defines is raining. So we reach to the that A is raining. This is the that we discussed with the help of very simple example. Now second example I will discuss on this particular approach, forward approach, that we have to find a critical path. Critical path means here we have given one example. See, activity A, B, C, D, E, F, G up to H is given. Now predecessor is given to each activity. So from reach to when we reach from A activity to B activity or C activity, what is the duration is that will require, that is also given. Now our final aim is to reach the activity H. So we can construct this particular flow or the diagram from this particular sequence. So starting from A, now A is the first predecessor. Now second activity B. Now how, so what it shows, its predecessor is A. So let's start that from A to B, then next activity is C. So C has also predecessor A. So that's why we are showing that A is common predecessor to B and C. Then D, that follows, that means V implies D. Then E implies C. So again here C is common to E and F you are getting. So there are two branches from C. Then E activity from G activity, we have the two paths. We can reach to H through D and E, while F and G. So these are the two common paths to reach to the G. That means to reach to H through G, we have the path D and E. So I think here there must be one connection, and then to reach H we have F and G. These are the predecessor of this particular activity. So what are these here? Critical path, that means the shortest time, shortest duration that we get from this, out of this path. That means to reach from A to H we have A B D G H, A C F G H, A C F H. These are the possible path. Now here in this particular table, ES start from early start, middle one is the activity, that is what is the A B C D E F G H. EF is the early finish. In the second row, LS, that is the late start, and in the middle column duration, and the last one is the late finish. So how to write here? So early start is that you have to consider from 0, starting from 0, activity A. Now how many duration? That is nothing but the total early finish, so 3. So I will write 3 here, and the duration is also 3. So let it be start when we go to the point B. So here whatever is the early finish, that is the early start of the second activity, so that's why it is a 3. Same here, 3. Then how to calculate the early finish? So for that you will require to add the duration time. So here 3 plus 4, that means for second activity you will require 4 days, so it becomes 7. But in the second part, that means from reach to A to B will require a 7, but from A to C, for C what will require 2, so it becomes 5. So if we proceed so on, so finally the shortest time we will get from the activity A, C, then 5. So from C to E, how many duration is there? Only one. So here 5 plus 1, 6. Then from E to H, how will you go to the from E to H? So that is through the path G and H. So here for G 4 that will require, so it becomes 6 plus 4, 10. And then to reach from G to H, so H has 3, so 14, sorry, 10 plus 3, 13. So total 13 uh, is days is the duration that will get from A, C, E, G and H activity. But if you observe another path, it will require total 19 days of the duration. So here in this way, by using this forward interpolation technique, we can find out the critical path. So in short, forward and backward approach that we can remember, forward means from known variable we can reach to the goal, and from in backward approach, from goal we will reach to the input or the given known values. Then search algorithm, whatever the example that we have seen for critical path method, so there are two search algorithm: uniform blind search and informed search. In the uniform search we have this type: breadth first search, uniform cost search, depth first search, depth limited search, iterative search, and the bidirectional search. While in the informed search we have the base phase search and A star search. So out of these I have discussed here, as far as the syllabus is concerned, breadth first search and the depth first search. So from the diagram itself you can clear how it works. So from node A to B, and then it start branching on one side of the uh, location. So unless and until it reaches to the goal, here the green highlighted nodes that represent the goal. So depth first search works on the technique that when you start a branching, so it will continue the branching to the only one part of it, and unless and until you reach to the goal. So here we'll start A to B, so it will start from B, again D, E, then H as L, M, N, and then at N you'll reach to the goal. Similarly here C, F, G, J, K and Q. But here in breadth first search, the branching starts in the either direction. Here in it is only one direction. Depth first search, we can say branching is only one direction. Development of the branching to reach the goal is only in one direction. Depth first search, here it is in the bidirectional. That means from A to B, then instead of going from B to C and D, here it works like A to B, then C, and then D, E, F, G, like this, and then you can reach to the goal. So that is the difference between depth first search and breadth first search. So depth first search work in the only one direction of the branching, where it will runs in the both the direction of the branching to reach to the goal nodes. And that's why the sequence that will be different in depth first search as well as in the breadth first search. Now, Internet of Things. So what is the Internet of Things? So sometimes it is called as Internet of Everything. So in short, friends, I will tell you Internet of Things means it is nothing but simple a communication, or it means a connection. We know through internet we can connect it to different devices, we can able to communicate, we can able to gather the information, we can able to get the information, get the data. So that is nothing but the Internet of Things. So that's why it is here it is mentioned that it consists of wave enabled device that will collect or send the data, also act on that data, and found in which is founded in the surrounding with the help of embedded sensor, processor and communication hardware. This device is connected to small devices that is able to talk. So the machine, so here the working style of this particular Internet of Things is given. So here this is the outer circle is nothing but you can say that is the environment. In the environment we have people, we have things and we have data. So whenever the data transfer that will takes place from people to mobile, so that means through mobile we can communicate with another people, so other side of the people, so that is called people to people communication. Then second one, data and things. So somewhere data is there and that we are going to collect, from that we'll go to the research and then we'll produce some device. So that is nothing but uh, machine to man, sorry, machine to machine interface that will takes place. So the data is there in the surrounding, or we can say in the environment, so that is collected by the computer, and that things are compared and we can able to develop some particular product. Then people to things, so it will connect the people to machine. So like these are nothing but we can say how the Internet of Things will work. So in the second figure also you'll get the clear cut idea about the Internet of Things, that are nothing but the connectivity in between the each other. So here you are getting some audio, singing, or you can say hearing a song, then camera, then we have email box, spam box, alarm, transportation system, medical treatment system. So the Internet of Things is nothing but it is a communication in between the devices, in between the surrounding environment. And what is the communication? That is in the form of data. So that is the Internet of Things. Now industry revolution. Now we might be heard the terms today very frequently, that is industry 4.0. So what is the industry 4.0? So for that, first of all, we have to study how we reach to the industry 4.0. So initially it is a industry 1.0. In the industry 1.0, what uh, we have the power transmission. Actually, industrial revolution, that are nothing but the transmission of the power transmission systems, that we can say. And so first, in the first industrial revolution, we can able to generate the power from internal combustion engine, from steam engine. So that's why it is given that mechanization and the introduction of the steam and water power. In the second industry 2.0, so where we can started the mass production with the help of assembly line because of the electrical power. So here we have developed mainly the electrical power. In industry 3.0, so nowadays we are in the industry 3.0 and we are going to enter in the industry 4.0. So in the industry 3.0 we have now existing systems are automated productions, computers, IT systems, and robotic systems. So with the help of robots we are going to replace a human, and that activities are uh, carried out in different industry, that may be manufacturing industry, so that may be processing industry. So that is the industry 3.0. Now the now we are going to enter in the industry 4.0. That means what, we are going to develop the smart system, the smart system, like we can say smart cities. Your BRT buses are there, then uh, whatever the digital payment methods that you are using, like Paytm, like your different types of application that we are using for video conferencing. So where there is a machine to machine interaction is possible in the industry 4.0. So that's why here it consists of IoT and the machine learning. So in this kind of system the robots has such a kind of features that it can visualize, it can protect himself in the adverse condition. So that is the industry 4.0. So whatever the smartphone is there, whatever the smartphone Android applications are developing day by day, so that is the industry 4.0. Or we can say the very best example, as I said, smart cities. So smart cities, not only the BRT buses but electric vehicle is nothing but we can say the one of the uh, beginning of the industry 4.0 at our side. And why you'll need a industry 4.0? So when a company is trying to adopt this industry 4.0, it will have to get the benefit of it will get the big data analytic, artificial intelligence, cloud technology. These are the working culture is developed, and because of that you will get this 8 benefit: higher productivity, increase in productivity of the system with minimum cost. Then that's why the point number 4 is reduce cost, agile process, that is the process is flexible, we can able to change it at per the requirement. Rapid innovation is possible because of the big data, we can analyze and we can invent new things. Increase the revenue, in short, because of the higher production and at reduced cost the revenue generation will be increased. Better workplaces, that means because of the uh, better revenue generation we can develop the workplaces, we can give the facilities to the worker, better facilities. Then improved communication in between the you can say your different uh, aspects of the industry. So and the last but least important, that is nothing but the customer satisfaction is also improved, because you are getting the good quality of product at cheap cost. So that is nothing but the customer, you can say, demand in the market, that he wants the product in at cheap cost but with quality. So that are the benefits of industry 4.0. So I will stop here, and in the next lecture I will discuss this particular term, like what is machine learning, different types of machine learning. So keep watching my series of lecture. Thank you.